Welcome to the world of Jalara, where the people of Genesis Battle of Champions live. Our in-store gameplay community is growing. Visit GenesisBattleofChampions.com to find a local game store near you. Our list of international distribution partners continues to grow. Ask your local game store to contact one of these fine companies and have your store join our Play network. Visit GenesisBattleofChampions.com to explore the lore of the lands. There are chapters of lore that you can read, chapters of lore that you can watch, and there's also a helpful map where you can learn where all of the key characters in the next set live inside the world of Jalara.
just think they are. Another little wannabe gangster trying to play hard. Ding dong, they just think they are. Another little wannabe gangster trying to play hard. Free up the guys, then dip out the ends. Jump in the ride, then burn out the rims. Don't stop, don't catch the boy that I'm in. Now we doing the block with the up for events. Skin get close, could you put on them with the tips on 10? Back in the back, that's on tap, all ready to go and jump in. Ding down, they just think they are. Another little wannabe gangster trying to play hard.
Tell me why I always need to survive off your love, your love. 'Cause every time you fire at me, it kills all the fun, kills all the fun. Every blink of an eye brings a new drop of blood from the sky, but I don't mind, 'cause the way that you lie makes me feel so alive, feel so alive. 'Cause the rhythm awaits, waiting for my bones to break.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 50th episode ever for Beyond the Edge of Exile. My name's Jason. Joining me to my left, your right, it's Will. Will, how are you tonight?
Good, Jason. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited. It's hard to believe that we are on our 50th Monday night episode for
Right?
Beyond the Edge of Exile. Isn't that crazy?
That's very crazy.
Time flies when you're having fun. It's also it's just hard to believe that it was a year ago at this point when myself and Janice and Jeff were in the process of purchasing the rights to the game, trying to save the game, revive the game. There was all these unknowns going on. Nobody really knew what was happening. It was crazy. Lots of people were sad because they thought the game was going away forever, ourselves included, because we didn't know for sure if things were going to work out. And yet here we are, just about a year later, almost to the day. And now at this point, we've released a set. We released some starter decks that the majority of that was designed by you. So your products have got out into stores. It's pretty exciting that the game carries on. And now tonight, we get to, on our 50th episode, a very special 50th episode, we get to talk about what the future of the game is going to look like.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting. And
A
now I
lot of
have to
people in
take
the
a breath.
chat too. We got looks like we have 17-ish
17.
watching right now.
Yep, that's a great start. I was hoping that we'd be able to get lots of people watching tonight because we have some exciting things to talk about. And it's great to see everybody. Hey, Carl Lily's here. Nice to see him in the chat as well. Lots of people from Genesis Past hanging out tonight. That's great. So it's going to be a fun night as we talk about the future of the game. I'm excited. And I have a dry, pasty mouth, if we're being honest, because I've been running around like crazy trying to get everything ready, hoping I'd have everything ready for 7 p.m. tonight. It was a long scramble of a day. Oh, Alex is here too. Hello, Alex. Welcome to the chat tonight. So yeah, some people from your past, because you used to do Monday nights every week with Alex, if I recall, right?
I think it was Tuesday nights. I think, but
Was it Tuesdays? My bad. I thought it was Mondays. That's cool though. Yeah,
it was one of those weeknights,
it was
those
one of
old
those nights where you
days.
were exploring the libraries together. That's nice. Right on. Good to see everybody here tonight. It's good. It's great that you're all here because, amongst other things, tonight for our 50th episode, we have amped up the prizing for our weekly giveaway. Welcome to the chat, Ben. Tonight, somebody, could be you, Ben, because you just commented in the chat. Anyone who comments in the chat tonight gets entered for a chance to win a free sealed booster box of Invasion, which is currently our most recent set out in stores. So, everybody that's here tonight, before the episode ends tonight, we're going to be doing the traditional Wheel of Names, which I'll be working on getting the list of names going while Will does some of the talking tonight. And somebody's going to win a booster box just for coming and chatting tonight with us. On top of that, we're going to be talking about some cool stuff that's going on. We've got a major announcement that we're going to be revealing tonight. I was just at a new game store that opened on the weekend. And as a matter of fact, that's what I can do is I'll run a really quick video for a second just to let more people get in. I see we're up to 20 people already, which is great. I'm going to
Awesome.
run a real quick video just to give everybody a quick look at the game store that just opened up in Bracebridge because I was up there this weekend. They had a bunch of Genesis product on the shelves already, and in fact, I got to be there and hear the staff there explaining to some Magic players who'd walked in all about Genesis and why that's such an exciting
Oh,
game that they
nice.
might be interested in. So it was pretty cool getting to be there in a brand new store that just opened that's already carrying the product. Misha, welcome to the chat tonight. John, welcome to the chat tonight. As I said earlier, everybody who comments and says hello in the chat tonight, you're all automatically getting entered for a chance to win a booster box, a sealed booster box of Invasion. Currently, the latest product out from Genesis Battle of the Champions. That includes free shipping too. So if you wind up winning tonight when we do the big Wheel of Names, if you win, the only thing you'll have to do afterwards is you'll just have to send us an email, assuming we don't already know how to mail things to you, and you'll be able to send an email to the address I'm trying to get on the screen here. There it is. Hello at edgeofexile.com. That's our email address. You will see it at the top of the screen now. If you're the winner tonight, you just got to send us an email letting us know what address to ship your prize to. And then that's it. We ship it on our dime. Doesn't cost you a penny. And you get a booster box of the latest and greatest Genesis cards. Well, I should say the latest and greatest for now because we do still have Metamorphosis coming up in the near future. But that's something we'll be talking about tonight. So in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to run a real quick video for a second. That'll give me a chance to go
Right.
grab a drink and whatnot and get ready for all the talking that you and I are going to be doing tonight. So if you can give me just a second here, I am going to find the right thing and switch it on over.
Who's going to
Who has,
sign the winner's booster box?
who's going to sign it?
Well, I assume it's in Jason's hands. So
Yep.
Jason can sign it.
It's up here in my secret hideaway. So if you wanted, myself and Janice, two of the three current owners, could sign it for you if you liked it, or if you just want to dive into the goodies and not worry about it, we'll send it out unsigned, whatever you like. And yes, as Janice says, all you have to do is comment in the live chat. Janice is actually watching from somewhere else. Hey, greetings from Germany. How's our world champion doing over there, Yoda's Data? I hope they're ready for some more cards because we've got some more coming on the way pretty soon. Exciting to see you join in the live chat tonight. I appreciate that. That's very cool. All right, I'm going to be back in just a moment. Signed hockey jerseys? What's going on? Oh my goodness, look at this. Signed hockey pucks. Very cool. Why am I in a sporting goods store with all sorts of amazing signed collectibles? And wait, what's over here? We got some board games. Oh, you know me. I love board games. They're fun. Got some trivia stuff. That's cool. But wait, what's going on here? Now I see, oh, a little bit of, yeah. Those who shall not be named. We see some of their product. Oh, yeah. Hockey collectibles. Nice, nice. Look at this. Graded cards. Where am I? I'm at Muskoka Cards and Collectibles, a brand new gaming store located in Bracebridge, Ontario. And of course, you want to know why I'm really excited? Ta-da! That's right. They're carrying Genesis products right here at Muskoka Cards and Collectibles. We've got the amazing Steven, we've got the amazing Tyler, and we've got the amazing Genesis products. All here in Bracebridge. So now, when you're up in cottage country in Muskoka, conveniently, you can visit Muskoka Cards and Collectibles. Tyler, anything you want to say to the millions and millions of Genesis fans who exist in my mind?
We'd love to have you guys at the store. We're going to be having a game room. We're going to be love to have competitions. And yeah, spread the word, and we'll try and get a community going here as well. So everyone's welcome.
Awesome. That's it for our shout out from the brand new exciting Muskoka Cards and Collectibles located, what's the address, Tyler?
16A Manitoba Street, Bracebridge, Ontario.
16A Manitoba Street in Bracebridge, Ontario. They've only just opened for the first time literally 2 days ago, but they are still setting up. Tons of product is here. Tons of product is on its way in. In just a couple days, these shelves are going to be packed with all sorts of extra exciting gaming things. You got to come and visit them. Bracebridge, where Santa hangs out in the summer. Bye, folks. So that's it. That's the new store that just opened up. Interestingly enough, when Janice and I closed down our store and started to sell off some of our store's display assets, we went ahead and he contacted us. He bought some of our shelving and things like that. Got to be fast friends, and now they are carrying on the banner for us in the Central Ontario region, hosting Genesis tournaments and other cool things up there. So
Very
I
cool.
told him I'd give him a special shout out tonight. So yeah. Now then, where should we go from here? I guess on my side here, I'm gonna get a wheel of names going. I'm gonna start getting names loaded up into that. So I might be distracted just for a sec while I type, because goodness gracious, there's a lot of names already to go on this list, which is awesome. Santa's Village and Bracebridge, that's right. And then we can make our big announcement in just a minute. Why don't you stall for time, Will, and just entertain all the people at home with some jokes or, whatever you got. What do you want to talk about? Talk to the folks.
Um, Crazy giveaway. Yeah, we're giving away the box. So those of you who are in the chat or have made a comment will hopefully get a chance to win that box. And I just want to say ahead of any announcements that are spoken today, I just appreciate everyone showing up and being here and being willing to spend some time to see where things are going and get some updates on Genesis. And yeah, hopefully the announcement goes over well, I guess. That's really what it's really the nervous energy of leading up to the announcement and sort of how people are going to swing it.
Oh, I think it's going to be fine. I think people are going to be really excited because we are about ready to begin the next step in our journey towards taking over the world, taking over the collectible card game industry. Our next step in growing the game and making sure that more people everywhere can play it. That's the long and the short of it. Is we've been laying some groundwork down, getting some things done, and now it's time to take that next major step, which we're really excited about. So sorry, I'm just still typing a few more names here. I got to get them all in. So
So
what
yeah,
did you
so
do
new
today? Did you?
players, old players, depending on how where you've come from. Like,
Yeah.
Genesis, you may know all the past, you may know some of it, you may have been there from the beginning, or maybe only have been just starting, last week or whatever, right? But um, the game itself is a game that I have come to love, and I truly believe is a fantastic game. It's something that definitely hits a niche for me. I think that's definitely, the mixture of tactics, games like Final Fantasy Tactics, Advance Wars, um, the mixture of having armies, and sort of that idea of building your deck exactly how you want, sort of some, the restrictions of other games. It's a blending of a bunch of different genres, and it's paper cardboards, which are a lot of fun to play with. And there's a lot of interesting games. I've had a lot of fun. I've met a ton of people, and I've had an opportunity to um, design and put out some cards from my brain onto paper, and people have enjoyed them and played them and whatnot too. So yeah, I just again, depending on where things go and how things turn out, I just really appreciate the opportunity that I've had so far. What does it take to be
Yeah.
an old player? I don't know. I guess
Maybe if you played during both companies' time, maybe like if you played
sure.
Origins or older, that was the previous company, and then the next generation of players are ones who maybe only heard about the game after we took over and redesigned the cards. So there's definitely two generations, I would think, of the game. So, but we love everybody equally, whether you're an old classic player, whether you're a new player, or somebody who's been along for the whole journey. It is an exciting time today. What if you're just old, Rick? That's cool too, buddy. You and I, we're both feeling our age some of these days, so no worries there. Rick Miles is actually a really good friend of mine. He's a very experienced magic judge from my magic judge touring days, and I've been talking to
Oh,
him
fun.
recently. I've been talking to him recently because he is one of the very experienced, knowledgeable people that I'm hoping to get involved in the game a little more as we prepare to ramp up official organized play again, which is something we'll be talking about tonight a little bit.
I
He's
saw
got
someone
a
ask
wealth of
about the
experience.
championship.
Yes,
Um,
that's also something we'll be talking about tonight. So,
yes, wanting to try to make sure I caught that one. That is still on our minds.
yep, absolutely. So, I guess without any further ado, we can start talking about the big announcement because that is kind of the meat and potatoes, so to speak, for what this week's episode is going to be all about. It's going to be a fun topic to discuss. Basically, just to give everybody an update, things have went really well since we took over a little over a year ago. We started with a skeleton team of just the three owners at first. Then we, as soon as we possibly could and were able to, we brought in a couple key members of staff. Will here being one, John Rayner, who's in the chat here as well, being another. And then we reached out through them to some of the people who were involved in the rules discussions before, the rules team, and we got a couple of them on board as well. So between the new blood and the old blood, we were able to really work together well and get a lot of progress done in our first year in business. We set a big hardcore goal for us that in our first year of in less than a first year, because we only really kind of started doing anything effectively in May. Um, we set a hard to achieve goal that we wanted to try to finish the mostly completed set of Invasion that the previous company had did most of the work on. We wanted to get that out to people because obviously that was something that everybody was really upset about, thinking all of a sudden they weren't going to get to play it. So we set a goal to get that out in December, and we were able to. Jenna says it was June by the time we really started working. That's true. There was a lot of negotiations where we couldn't really do anything because the ink wasn't dry on the paper yet. But starting in June, we set a goal to really try our best to, before Christmas, we wanted to get Invasion finished and out. And not only were we able to do that, but we were also able to bring out 5 monocolored starter decks, which was something that was a little overdue for the game at the time. Is a nice off-the-shelf starter product that people could just walk in off the street and be like, "That game looks neat. What can I buy to try it?" So we got that out as well. It was very well received. We also, in our first 6 months in business, we managed to establish a really exciting partnership with Southern Hobby Distribution, which is one of the biggest distributors across the entire United States.
Yeah.
So that gave us the ability to get our product into stores in a lot of places in the States that previously the game just couldn't reach. We also re-signed up again or reactivated the Canada-wide distribution agreement that the previous company had had with Universal Distribution, and then since then we wound up getting another second distributor in the States, Indie Pro Games, and we've partnered with Yoda's Data, who is not only a game store but also operating as a great independent game distributor for the basically the entirety of Europe. So if
Yeah.
any or the European Union specifically, so we're excited because there, if any stores in North America or stores in the European Union want to get our product in, there's a wholesaler available to order from. So that was a big thing that we really wanted to accomplish, and we got that done. Some great milestones. Hey, Decks and Drafts in the chat. Well, welcome. You've timed it just right because we're just starting to get into it. I was just doing a recap of how great a progress we made in our first 8 to 9 months that basically wound up being our first year in business. And then since then, things have been going really well. We officially have all the cards designed and locked in for Metamorphosis. And we already have Will and his team working on cards for Cataclysm. And I think there might, correct me if I'm wrong, but you might even have a few cards for the set after that now, right? A few that you've designed that won't necessarily make it into the first two, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, so the set afterwards is about half designed and the rest is still in my brain. So whatever that means. The
Yeah.
champions are all done, and the skeleton is all done for where we want to go with the game at that point. But I wouldn't say, yeah, I would say about 50% of the cards are actually inked or typed into the actual spreadsheet. But
Tower says he just got into the game by the starters. That's great to hear. We were really happy with them.
nice.
As a player, I thought all five were really well balanced. I thought Will did a great job in ensuring that they all worked well against each other, and I'm a big fan of them, so I'm glad that you enjoyed them. This is not Inside Will's Head Part 2 nor Part 3. This is a whole different theme for this episode tonight. This is our 50th episode celebration. So I'm almost done the recap. As I mentioned, we hit some cool milestones. We got some product out and into players' hands. We got some new distribution partners. We've seen a lot of success on a lot of different levels behind the scenes. We also, the main thing that you, the players at home, wouldn't realize, but the hardest thing, I think, maybe the hardest thing, because there were some difficult tasks in there, but one of the hardest things was rebuilding the business connections and networks because when the old company shut down, unfortunately, not all everything was a clean break. So we kind of had to go out on our own and make new partnerships with printers, and we had to learn from new partners who they use for importing and exporting and all sorts of stuff. In fact, just when we shipped a tractor trailer of a couple pallets of product down to our distributor in Seattle a couple weeks ago, we were learning new things even then. So like because we didn't have existing partners who had been doing it for years with us. So it was some exciting challenges, but we've rebuilt everything to, in fact, probably a better position than it was before, with partnerships that work really well scattered across the globe and whatnot. So that's really exciting. And now tonight we got to talk a little bit about where do we go from here, because it's an exciting time where we have 2.25 sets ready to go kind of thing being designed and play tested and whatnot. And what we need to do is we need to get that stuff out to market into stores. So what we're going to do is we've been we've been looking at our options on how we can get things done in a quick way, because we had set a goal that we wanted a set to come out this summer, and it's already a little bit later than I had hoped for at this point, because we really were ambitious. And truth be told, when we started last year, we were hoping that this year we'd be able to get two sets to market, but unfortunately, the only one who can work hard enough to keep up with that schedule is Will himself. The rest of us, there's just not enough hours in the day for the rest of us to do all of our parts. So we're looking to keep growing the company. We're looking to get more hands involved in the near future. We're also looking to get Metamorphosis released. And all of that winds up being, how do we get everything accomplished that we wanted to do this year? Because not only do we want to get Metamorphosis out, but we also want to get organized play up and running in a proper sense where, like, You're getting new promo packs, new cards to open in stores. There's something to
Yeah.
play for, something to compete for, maybe a championship of some sort to try and qualify for. We want all the motivation there so that not only can the casual play continue to thrive, but so that the competitive play can start really taking itself up again. And then on top of that, between getting promo packs printed and championships and organized play and getting the sets out, it winds up just that as with many games, not many games, but as with many companies, that when they're growing really fast and you're able to hit some metrics and then other ones are a bit of a struggle based on manpower and whatnot, we just find ourselves in a need where we're going to want to try something to try and speed up the pace a bit. And to do that, after much consideration and deliberation, we thought the best way that we could do that is if Edge of Exile could try its hand at doing a pretty cool Kickstarter to help crowdfund some of the things that we need to do so that over the next few months we could get Metamorphosis out, and then we have stretch goals involved in the project that we're thinking of, which could include all sorts of exciting things like speeding up organized play, resuming, getting promo packs to stores even quicker, perhaps looking at, we had always said our next official world championship would be 2025. But if everything gets sped up enough thanks to a successful Kickstarter, we might even be, well, it'll be a stretch goal that we'd try to, if we raise enough money, we would have a world championship this year as well, because at that point, if we've got everything up and running, there'd be no reason not to. So
Right.
this is where we're going is but we're going to do our Kickstarter a little bit differently than the last company did, and a little bit differently than a lot of other card games have done. Part of the reason for why ours is going to be different is because we're in a unique spot. Most people, myself included, consider us a smaller indie game still, but we're a smaller indie game that has major distribution partners and can get our product into store shelves literally all across North America and the European Union. And that's something that usually independent games companies don't have. Usually it's really, really hard for smaller independent game stores to get signed with major contracts with major distribution partners. So we have a big leg up on some of the other indie games that way, in so much as we have access to get into stores right away. So yeah, okay. Don't jump the gun there, Joey. So one of the things that we're not going to do compared to the last Kickstarter is we're not going to be selling booster boxes at all through the Kickstarter. There's going to be all sorts of cool rewards and incentives that I'll go over in just a minute. But the one main thing you're not going to see here is we're not going to actually be selling any Metamorphosis Kickstarter booster boxes or anything like that, because we already have great deals with distribution partners, and we already have stores buying product through those distribution partners. And the last thing that I would want to do, or that Janice or Jeff would want to do as the owners, is we don't want to we don't want to cannibalize sales from our partners. We want to be good faith partners and make sure that everything that we offer through Kickstarter is really cool and unique, but stuff that's not going to hurt sales down the line for the stores who are buying through their normal channels. So,
And
with
those relationships have been established and been put a lot of effort into them, right? So, making sure that those relationships are working and that system is working, and we're pushing out that, using that same system and not, as you say, cannibalizing, is definitely something that I know, like myself, has seen other TCGs kind of go through that phase, and I think we're learning from some of, the things that went wrong, or things that worked in other ones.
mhm. Yeah, the main thing too is we've been very fortunate. We've been very well treated by some of these major distributors. When I say that, Southern Hobby has done posts on their Twitter account and their Facebook account in the past hyping up our products for us, which is something that they generally don't do except for a lot of the big name games. But like they put our ads up there between the new Star Wars game and Sorcery and Lorcana and all that. And like they they were advertising us just the same as they were advertising other major name games in the industry. And Universal has done the same as well, where they've went out
Okay.
of their way to promote us. In fact, for a few months, whenever any store would log into the Universal website to order products for their stores, the first ad they would see on the homepage for a few weeks, maybe even a month solid, was our Genesis ad. So Universal treated us very, very well. Southern Hobby has. And so we owe it to them to like make sure that we don't do anything in bad faith. I want this Kickstarter have a lot of great rewards and things that could be really exciting for you, the Genesis players. I want the funds that get raised through this Kickstarter to be able to allow us to do all the really cool things that I know you really want, including organized play, brand new promos, store championships, world championship, all of that. But at the same time, I know we all would agree that we don't want to make it harder for distributors or game stores to make a profit selling the boxes. So that is the
Yep.
long explanation for why we're deliberately not offering booster boxes in our Kickstarter. Now, with that being said, let's start talking about all the cool things that you can get through this Kickstarter. There's going to be lots of rewards coming up. There's going to be several different tiers that, if you're familiar with Kickstarter, there are different levels that you can pledge and you'll get the corresponding rewards for those. There's also going to be a bunch of add-ons that once you've picked your normal tier for your pledge, if you want to add on some cool add-ons on the side, you can add as many of them as you want. And some of those things I'll go over first, if that's okay. First up, we've got some really cool Kickstarter exclusive t-shirts that we're going to have. First one up. Hey, welcome to the chat, 10K. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted, but I'm trying to watch the chat. Welcome. You've came on a great night tonight. We're just announcing our new Kickstarter that is going to be going live in about a week or so. I'm really excited. People are going to be able to get some really cool exclusive rewards, including this very cool shirt featuring Erica and her new wolf. Basically, it's a Kickstarter shirt that says, this whole set came out partly thanks to me. You can thank me later. It's got the nice graphic there of Erica the wolf and the game board on it. Then on top of that one, we've got another very cool one here. This is my Oni t-shirt. I'm really excited about this one. Oni, love conquers all. This is a shirt that's got the no labels, no limits hashtag on it because Oni is our first ever non-binary in-game lore character. So we want to make sure we've said for a long time, ever since we took over the game, that representation matters. We want to make sure that everybody, no matter who you are, feels welcome in your game stores when you play and feels welcome in the world of the game. So we're doing our part to make sure that we're representing everybody, and featuring Oni on a new shirt is one of the things that we thought we could do for that. Next reward coming up, this is actually going to be part of one of the tiers of rewards that you can subscribe for, is we are going to be taking a look at 40 different champions from Genesis's history, which is almost every champion ever printed. And we're going to be doing them with new variant styles that are only going to be available through the Kickstarter. So examples of what these variant styles might mean is, well, let's take all of the champions from Invasion and Metamorphosis, and let's do them up in the old traditional templating from the Haunted Castle gaming era. So you could see some new champions in the old classic look. And of course, the flip side of that is we're going to take a ton of the old champions and we're going to keep the stats, we're going to keep the artwork, but we're going to be modernizing them to make them look like they just came out of a fresh booster pack, and they'll be coming out in the Edge of Exile era templating. So that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, you get to kind of see a mirror universe version of these champions, so to speak. And that'll be something basically also too. It's nice. Some of these champions are from pretty old sets like beta and alpha and things like that. Not very easy to find some of the original champions anymore. So you're going to be able to get all of them done up in new artwork, or not new artwork, new templating, new style. It's going to look really cool, modernized or classic versions. So basically, you'll get a copy of almost every champion ever printed, but looking different than you've ever seen them before. So I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be really fun. Now, then after this, I've got a couple add-ons to run through that people will be able to add on as well. So this one was one of my ideas, and I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's a pretty cool idea. Is when Metamorphosis comes out, we're going to have our tokens, just like we did before, our nice white border tokens. What is this, Shockwave? Just tuned in. You've just missed the announcement that we are hosting a new Kickstarter with all sorts of rewards and whatnot. That's going to be going live in about a week. And if we reach our first goal in the Kickstarter, the primary goal is going to help us get Metamorphosis out on time. And then stretch goals, if we can raise enough money on top of that, we're going to be doing things like getting organized play going even faster, getting promo packs of new cards into stores even faster. In fact, we might even have a world championship this year if we hit all of our goals and get everything up and running ahead of time. And the final Kickstarter goal, which I haven't mentioned before, but since you're here, Shockwave, now I can let the big cat out of the bag. The final goal is if we can raise X amount of dollars on top, and it'll be listed in the Kickstarter, we're going to try and get approved with TCG Player. Because here's a little insider baseball that a lot of the people know and some people don't, is the old card company, Haunted Castle Gaming, the original makers of the game, they actually got the approval from TCG Player to have Kickstarter, to have TCG Player
Genesis.
list all of the Genesis game cards on TCG Player, which was it's a major thing because TCG Player, if you get listed through there with all your cards, then any stores that are using, say, Binder POS for their software, all of a sudden every card's going to come up and there'll be prices in it already and all that stuff. And it makes it so much easier for every store to just buy and sell Genesis cards on the same level that they would Pokemon and Magic and everything else. So it was very huge. Dex and Drafts here in the chat. That's Joey. He worked with Haunted Castle Gaming previously before they shut down. He did a lot of that work, so he can verify. It's actually neat that he's here in the chat because he can verify that it all got approved, and that's a major thing that a lot of small little independent card games never get. When you get approved by TCG Player to get listed on their format, it kind of validates you. It shows that you're one of the big name games that everybody needs to pay attention to. But the drawback at the time, unfortunately, was that the real deal breaker at the time was they got approved almost immediately right before the company got into financial trouble, or maybe people became aware of financial trouble that they weren't previously. And then they wound up, the company went out of business before they got listed on TCG Player. And I know a lot of us, myself included, because I was just a fan at the time who happened to own a game store. When I had heard that they had been approved for TCG Player and it was going to be a matter of time before they got listed, I thought, oh, this game is going to the moon. This is amazing. Because as soon as it's listed on TCG Player, you're really, a lot of people stop thinking of you as an independent. And you start being like a higher level echelon game. So the nice thing is, the game is even a little bit more refined than it was before. We're in a better place than we were before, than the previous company was. And with this Kickstarter, that's something that if we're successful and reach our stretch goals, we can just cut a check and get that done. And that'll be really, really
Yeah,
exciting.
and
So,
there's a lot of exposure too, right? So to like TCG players, where a lot of people go, and if you're not going to TCG player directly, then you're getting funneled into there somehow because of a store runs that, or they're checking prices or whatever. And for the games that have come onto TCG player recently, there's a lot of advertising, so it's a huge amount of exposure. Um, so yeah, that would be a fantastic get.
yeah, I definitely think it's one of the things that any game needs to, that's one of the milestones any game needs to achieve to really get into that upper level of being considered not just an indie game anymore. And it was so tantalizingly close for Haunted Castle Gaming that they got approved and everything. And it was so close to actually happening. So that's something that's one of our stretch goals is we'll approach TCG Player and cut that check. Also, other stretch goals, like I mentioned, we could be doing a world championship as soon as this fall, assuming that we already have all of our organized play up and running, which could happen from the Kickstarter stretch goals, assuming that we already have brand new promo packs in stores, exciting new cards, including some, well, I won't spoil it, but there's going to be some really cool unexpected cards in the promo packs. You're going to be really excited when those start coming out. Um, so yeah, that's it. That's where we're at, is we're doing all this exciting stuff. But the main goal, you know how Kickstarter is, it's an all or nothing. Our base target that we have to raise is going to be $40,000. That's going to be enough to get Metamorphosis out. And then all the stretch goals go on if we reach targets higher than that. But it's exciting. I got distracted for a second because I started trying to update this list for the Wheel of Names. Because again, we are going to be giving away a booster box tonight. And we have 33 people watching live right now, according to my phone, and a lot of names in the chat. So I apologize that I'm a little distracted. I was trying to get caught up on the list, but I'll have to get back to it later because I have to keep telling you about all these cool, amazing rewards that you're going to be able to get for backing us on Kickstarter. So let me scroll back to my list of where I was. I had talked about the
So
40
when does the
champions.
Kickstarter start? Some people are asking when the Kickstarter starts.
So it takes 3 to 5 days for it to get approved. I'm ready to submit it as early as tomorrow. And then my hope is if it gets approved quick enough, either on Canada Day or the day after that, so either Monday or Tuesday next week is when I hope that it'll be able to go live. But we
Okay.
will update that on Facebook and we'll update that on Twitter. As soon as we get a hard date, we'll let people know. So don't hold me to that exact date of Monday or Tuesday. We will let you know as soon as we get a hard approval date from Kickstarter. So Does that help?
Some
Oh, sorry.
Kickstarters do like a early birds thing. Are we like doing some of those incentives for, or giving
Yes.
sneak peeks of what that would look like?
Yeah, so the reward tiers, there be, as I say, 3 or 4 reward tiers that you can sign up for. Each one of them is going, well, most of them is going to have an early bird where if you back us on day one, you'll save $10 off your package. So it's to
Right.
say instead of 175, it might be 165 or whatever the numbers are. But there'll be some early bird tiers where you can save $10 if you back us on day one. That's about it for early bird at the moment. But I do have
Right.
some really cool stuff that I want to share. The last one I had said just now was we were doing the 40 champions throughout time, modernizing our classic treatment on them. Next thing that I was just about to say before I got sidetracked by all the awesome people in the chat. My God, I can't keep up with the chat. That's really cool. Um, what else? What did I gonna say? Oh yeah. So here's one of the cool things that I thought was kind of clever. It was one of my ideas. I hope you like it. We're going to be doing our white border tokens just like we did in Invasion in Metamorphosis. But what I'm suggesting is on the back of them, we are going to have a thank you list where you could have your own name appear on a list. So every time people are cracking packs and they're looking at the tokens, they could flip it over and see on the back that you magical backer on Kickstarter, you helped bring the set to life and helped the game get to that exciting next level. And then for our content creators and for our retail partners out there, we're going to have another tier where they can add on to have their business name, like your game store's name or whatever company's name, or your social media
Right.
channel. If you want your Twitter handle, or if you want your Twitch channel or YouTube channel, whatever, you'll be able to get them on a separate list on the back of token cards as well. So I think that's pretty cool that you're going to be able to see your name on the back of cards. And it's kind of cool too that, when you're sitting there at a draft or whatnot and people are opening, if you wind up backing that level, there's going to be somebody at the table who's like, oh, look, I got your name on it. It'd be a lot of fun jokes and whatnot in the game stores. So I think that'll be cool.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that's an awesome idea, especially the business one, right? Because that's, um, that's something that can really, again, if there are businesses that are big supporters of the game, what more fun would it be to have your logo or
yeah,
whatever it ends up being there, right? That would be really cool.
yeah, and if it's a store or any type of business, if they want their logo specifically, we can get that on there instead of just the text. Like we'll work with you to make sure that all the people who are really excited and want to help the game grow get the recognition they deserve. I think it'll just be really fun. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
cool incentive that we were going to be having. Also, I'll tell you ahead of time, this isn't the final artwork because I'm not the artwork guy, but there's going to be a Kickstarter exclusive playmat. My working theory right now, and this might not be the final art, but my working theory is we might do it with the labeled map of Jalara and all the places that the story is going on. So
That'd be a
that's
throwback to beta. Wow, yeah.
but like with our, to be fair, I kind of think our maps look a bit nicer than the really, really old classic one, and there's a little more detail in these. But it doesn't have to be a playmat with the map on it. I thought that would be a really cool thing to do, and like I put a little bit of writing on it saying that the
Hmm.
bearer of this playmat is a true champion of Jalara and things like that because they help the set get released. So I uh,
Yeah.
I like the idea, and if
I
everybody
like
else
maps.
seems
I
to
think a
like it
map
too,
is a great idea. Yeah.
awesome. Right on. So that's something I like. Now then, when we get into the higher tiers of the game, or of the backstory, oh, let me see here. Will there be an LGS tier that lets them set up a Metamorphosis pre-order that can contribute to your final Kickstarter goal? I don't think so, Joey. I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. It's just kind of what I alluded to earlier, and I don't know if you were here at the beginning or not. But we had said that we don't want to risk cannibalizing any sales that would otherwise go through our distributors. There might be a way, like if you want to give me some feedback privately after the video on how you think that might work in a way that doesn't negatively impact the distributors, we could talk about that. But as it is right now, I don't think there's going to be any LGS tiers for because we want to avoid booster boxes and stuff like that. Unless, oh, maybe you mean, do you mean like an LGS tier where they can order all the all the stuff here? Oh, that would make sense, I guess. You and I should talk, Joey, later. I'll pick your brain on ideas. But as of right now, there wasn't a plan for that at the moment. So,
Chat
uh,
wants a Will K epiphany.
yeah, baffled. You never know. That card, you might see that card in a promo pack or something someday. I don't know.
Oh boy.
It's got a little bit of cool story to it. I don't know if it's ever going to be a real playable card, but we can figure that out.
Depends on the future of Epiphany. Mwahaha.
Yeah, that's a good evil laugh. I like that. Yeah, please give
Uh,
Joey send me a message after, and we'll talk about that because I always love getting discussions with Joey and other people who have cool thoughts that I don't think of. Um, so where did we leave off? We left off with the
Hit
playmat,
them.
right?
Yep.
So the next one's one that I think is a really cool idea, and this one is going to be a limited amount. So it's going to be a higher tier, higher dollar value tier, but it's going to be something really cool that I think the few people who spring for it are going to be really excited about. And it is a chance to literally see yourself in the game. So what this means is in either Metamorphosis or Cataclysm, there will be artworks for cards where there could be a character that looks just like you. This would be obviously custom art that we would have to negotiate with our artists to get done. And just so that we're clear, because I don't want to mislead anybody, I'm not saying that we're going to name a champion after you and give it your face. That's not what we're saying at all. But there could be a spell, like a rending blade kind of spell that does damage, and maybe the person getting blasted in the face is you. Or there could be a healing spell or whatever, and the person in it could be you. You prominently being featured in the artwork, and the cool thing about it would be anyone who knows you would recognize you in the art right away. But for the rest of the players at all the other stores around the world, they'd never even know any difference. It's just a face of a character in a card, and then someday, if you're at a tournament, they might walk by and be like, "Oh my god, you're that guy from that card that I love."
Yeah.
How surreal would
I
that
play
be,
I
right?
play this card all the time. You look familiar.
Yeah, right? How surreal would that be if you're walking by at a Genesis tournament, a big one somewhere, and like the artwork of your favorite card, the guy walks by you, and you're like, "What the hell? He exists, or she exists." So that's what I think is a really cool tier reward is you could see yourself in the game in artwork. I think that would be really fun. So there's gonna be a very limited amount of those. I think it's like 10 of them or 4 of them, something small.
Right.
Next one up is this is gonna be one of the tiers that you can you get immunity to the card if you're on it. That's funny.
What
This
if
is
do I get to choose the creature and then we just superimpose the face onto the creature, or is it like they have to be a human?
well. Here's what I'm thinking. That sounds a little bit like a joke, but I'll treat it like a serious question. Here's what I'm thinking: is the people who choose that tier, they might, based on the card availability, especially because we still have a bit of extra flexibility in Cataclysm, which is the other set these could fall into. If somebody really wanted to be on a spell card, we could put them into a spell card where like they're getting blasted by something. Or if somebody
Yeah.
wants to be on a creature card, it could be like whatever the monster or creature is. If it's like somebody's pet, maybe the generic person who has the pet could be the backer of the Kickstarter, things like that. So the one thing I just didn't want to mislead people and think that we're going to name a key character in the lore after you. It's just more like a cameo as opposed to a starring role, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like
So
a cardboard cohort hugging a werewolf type of thing. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
There
or
we go.
cardboard cohorts as a werewolf,
Or
whatever.
as a werewolf. I mean,
Yeah, wouldn't
oof.
that be cool, eh? Uh, so So yeah, so that's the idea behind that one, behind the get yourself in the game, and I think that one's gonna be really fun. Oh, I'll be watching the Oilers tonight too. After this, I'm recording the game. But thanks for tuning in, Ben. It was fun. It's great to see you again. Then the next one to talk about. This is gonna be one of the tiers that you're gonna be able to sign up for. The main tier is alternate style champions from Metamorphosis specifically. So we're gonna do what is it, 7 or 8? I always forget if it's 7 or 8 champions of Metamorphosis.
In Metamorphosis, it was 8.
8. So what would happen here is you'll get a copy of each champion appearing in Metamorphosis. There's a tier where they're all non-foil. You'll see that it says non-foil in yellow. There's a tier where you can get both foil and non-foil at the same time. Then the so you can get non-foil, you can get
Steven.
foil and non-foil. You were the model for Lord of the Hunt? Man, that is so uncomfortable, Stephen Penn, because I'm not kidding when I say I have a blanket in this house with the Lord of the Hunt artwork on it, which I think means I've been sleeping with you for a year now. I don't know. That's really uncomfortable, and I wonder if Jeff knew that when he gave me that as a gift. But Lord of the Hunt was my favorite art of that set. I loved it, and everybody knows that. So if that's true and you're not kidding, that's actually really, really cool. All right. So then, now then, there's the tiers where you can get either just non-foil or foil and non-foil, and then we're going to do a add-on, which this might be some of your viewers out there. This might be the most exciting tier reward that we're going to announce tonight. I don't know. It depends. Some people really go crazy for this, and some don't. But we're
Right.
going to do a set of 100 and only 100 copies of those alternate art champions for Metamorphosis, and we're going to do them as serialized. That's right, you're going to be able to get these cards with a number on them somewhere between 1 and 100. And if you sponsor this tier, what's going to happen is you're going to get a copy of each one of the champions, all with the same number on them. So it'll be random or based on order received, probably random because I think that's the easier way to go. But what'll happen is you'll get a sealed packet with one of every champion from Metamorphosis, and they'll all have, say, number 5 on them, 5 out of 100, or 38 out of 100, or whatever, something to that effect. And I know that serialized cards is generally a really exciting thing, so we're excited to bring that here. It'll be the only way to get these serialized cards is by doing the Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool.
I think the Kickstarter like tracks when certain people come in too, right? So you may be able to see. I don't know. I guess it depends on the
You would know
back
how many
end.
people have already bought it, but
Yeah.
the thing is, I kind of lean towards random because if somebody really wants to get number 7 and 9 people have already backed it, you kind of want to be like,
Oh, I
oh,
see.
I still have a chance to get the number I really want, right? So it also might be a case of maybe we do something like you could make a request when you back it for your top 3 choices of a number, and if we can give you one of them, we will, kind of deal.
Yeah, that could be. That's a way to do it too. Or you just take number 1 out of the equation and put that as a championship prizing.
Yeah. So, yeah, there'll be certain numbers that'll be popular for sure, Rick. So yeah, so
Cool.
that's most of the rewards in the tiers. There is an ultimate tier that's going to be offered, and when I say ultimate, I mean it will be literally the ultimate reward, where it will include everything, every add-on you can get, every tier reward you can get, and on top of all that, the winner, and there's a maximum of 4 for this ultimate tier. And each one of those 4, if all 4 at that level get sold out and backed by somebody, the bonus for them is each one of them is going to be invited to be a special guest host for an episode of Beyond the Edge of Exile here with Will and I. And we'll do a whole episode talking with these passionate Genesis fans who will be truly heroes and champions for helping bring the game to market, bring the new set to market quicker, and all the other cool things we can do. And we'll do a whole episode just chatting with them about their Genesis experience, about their favorite other games, whatever they want to talk about. And we're going to highlight and really feature these members of the community who back us.
Mm.
So yeah, you could be the next Will. All it's going to do is cost you a bit of money
Oh, you
and
don't want
a
that.
couple hours of your time.
Wow,
So
that
yeah,
seems like a lot being offered. I think it's definitely filling in, like, looking at like other Kickstarters is filling in the not having the boxes. But I think we kind of presented the reasons why, right? We're not trying to cannibalize our relationships. We're really just trying to get a good, you know, picture of who is in, who's supporting, who wants to back us, who still believes in the game, who thinks that we have a shot, and it's all about trying to get these things done in a timely manner so that we can get up and running. And then hopefully that's it's the part that allows it to snowball, right? So as we turn the engine over and we get people coming back into stores, and product is moving from the distribution into stores, into people's hands, right? That kind of cycle kind of will build off of each other. So that's why we asked for, I mean, for me, I put out a call to all the channels that I had, for players, people who are supporters, people who even just people who believe that the game can succeed, and can, you know, reach different people, or grow as we want, whatever word you want to use. And so yeah, this is your chance to sort of say like, show us this, like show us how much you want us to do, right? Like we can, we can do so much, and there's so much we can plan, and looking back and seeing the chat about like, the dungeon crawlers, different things like that, and the game has so much potential, and um it's just one of those things where it's like, everything costs money these days. Right?
Yeah. And to be fair, like we when Janice and Jason and I, Janice and Jeff and I started this a year ago, and when we kind of took over the reins, we invested everything that we had available at the time to start the company up, and we had a business plan. But sometimes there are just unexpected expenses. Like we helped out a couple people who were left in a lurch after the sudden closing of the other store. So that took a bit of a bite out of our startup finances. We had to pay some bills. We had to pay some extra down payments on things when you're starting up new contracts with new companies because you don't have that years of history with them. So there were some things that kind of ate into our startup funds a little bit, and then it's just like we're so close to being able to get Metamorphosis out, but we to get it out in a timely manner, we just needed a little bit of help, and that's kind of what Kickstarter was originally designed for in the first place. Was for small upcoming games or companies, not just games, that are just they're growing and they're doing well, but sometimes your expenses outgrow your sales at first. But when things are tracking right and you have great partnerships like we do with distribution, it's just a small little short term hurdle, and that's what Kickstarter is meant to do: is help people crowdfund
Mm-hmm.
to get things done that they need to get done in a timely manner. So you could
And I like
kind of
it
say
too.
we're just using it Kickstarter for what it was originally meant to be used for. So
Yeah, and I like it too, like, getting the focus on organized play, because that's something that can really help down the road and can really
big time.
grow things, right? And as you get more
Yep.
people playing, more people interested. I like the idea of the promo packs. I think some of the tier options are really cool. We're not, we're not asking for big, huge amounts of money coming in for like a bunch of boxes, right, or whatever, like, and then expecting people to go to stores to buy more boxes, right? So, I think the rewards are unique. I think there's definitely some really cool items there too. So I hope that the players and the supporters that we have here tonight, hopefully there's something there that they can want, and they want to be a part of and to have. So.
And from my understanding, when Kickstarters are getting ready to go live after they've been approved, there's usually like oh, I forget what it's called, but like a temporary warm up page or whatnot, so you can get a look at what the tiers are going to be before it's actually live and people can buy it.
Yes.
So people
Yeah.
will get to look at the rewards ahead of time for a good few days. And as I say, we're going to make sure that on our Facebook and our Twitter and things like that, we give updates in the next few days. Because I'm probably going to be able to lock in everything and submit it for a review with Kickstarter tomorrow. And like I said earlier in the live stream, they say that it's about 3 to 5 days for them to review it, and then it'll be ready to go to our warm up page or whatever it's called. So we'll let people know when the exact date is that you can get your day one backing rewards.
Hmm.
So sorry, I'm still like there's so many names going on this list tonight that I'm still trying to get the wheel of names because we are giving away a booster box tonight, a booster box of Invasion with free shipping too. So I'm just trying to make sure that I get everybody's names on it because in just a couple minutes I'm going to try and read this list of names out loud so that you guys can help sanity check me and make sure I didn't miss anybody.
So there was a good question, I think, was asked again. Plan B. Is there a plan B for Kickstarter? If let's say, whatever, we don't hit that first goal.
Yeah, so there is a plan B that we've already been working on that we can roll out as a second way to get a little bit of extra funding um, to get some stuff out as well. We'd prefer it if the Kickstarter goes well, though, because if the Kickstarter goes really well and we reach our stretch goals, this is an entirely different game in the community by the end of the year. Meaning,
Right.
we're going to have so much more reach. We're going to be in so many more stores. We're going to be listed on TCG Player. And I think most of the people here watching tonight will be people who played a fair bit of Genesis. If you've played this game, you already know how great it is. The challenge is always convincing other people to take a look at a small, relatively unknown game. But
Hmm.
if we hit our stretch goals, we're instantly not unknown anymore because people are going to be seeing it popping up on TCG Player and in store point of sale systems and all these other places that you need to be to compete with the big ones. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
So I think
We have a real chance here to really elevate the game in a huge, tangible way.
yeah, and I think that's really the key point for those who are sort of like, well, what happens if it doesn't, or some of those who may want to know what happens on the opposite on the opposite side if things don't necessarily work out. Um, it's all about speed, right? By the end of the year, if the if the Kickstarter goes well, and we if it goes really well, we're on all these things. That's a huge amount of exposure. It's a huge amount of growth.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go and we don't succeed, then we have to go at that from a different, angle, which is going to be a lot slower, which means everything's going to be pushed back, everything's going to be delayed.
Yeah,
Um,
it
both of
would be
those,
it would be fair to admit that, yeah, if the Kickstarter doesn't get the minimum funding, it's probably going to take longer than we wanted to get Metamorphosis out. That's true.
right?
There is a second backup plan that we can use to try and raise money a different way, but it's not the preferred way. It's not as smooth and quick and easy as Kickstarter. So I don't really want to talk a lot about what our plan B is because if plan A works out, we'll never need plan B. We'll just be off to the races and
And that's the goal. But
growing. So
I think it's also good to know like that there is a plan B, but it's just like we're not doing this because we just want an extra $40,000. We're doing this because that extra amount gets us over this next hurdle into that next sort of playing field where we can really start to see turnover and growth.
yep. And when the Kickstarter is ready to go live and people are able to start previewing it, I'll have it clearly listed in what the stretch goals are. So you'll be able to see, oh, if they reach 60,000 total, that's where we can count on this happening. And at 80,000 total, that's where this would, and so on and so forth. So, like, it'll all be spelled out exactly where the money's going to be going to or what it's going to be used for to help get the game really going full speed. So, um, yeah, I'm really excited about it. And I think there's a lot of goodwill and a lot of people love what the game is, right? So if you and I have talked Will before too, there is a world out there where some smaller independent games, hopefully not us, but like smaller games than us, there may they could use stuff like Kickstarter once a year to try and bring out a set and things like that. But if we hit our stretch goals on this one, I don't think we'd ever need Kickstarter again because once we have organized play and we're doing major tournaments and all the awareness that comes with it,
Yes.
I'm optimistic that we won't ever have to look back again. I think we'll get into that next level where games really survive and thrive and grow on their own merits.
Yeah, and we'll have a very good uh, you know, picture or foundation of who is with us and who is sort of the foundation of where are we building from, right? We've had this year of a lot of big milestones, right? Now there's this big hurdle in front of us. Let's get over this hurdle. Let's get into the next playing field. Um, let it take off. Let it start turning itself over, and so that we have um, a we know, okay, these people all backed us, or this amount of players backed us, and now we're growing from this. Right there's our foundation. We know that true supporters, these are the ones that are going to be there for as long as they can be and as long as they want to be. But at least it gives us an idea of if that's 50 players, 300 players, 1,000 players, whatever, however many people sort of respond to this Kickstarter gives us a good idea of like, here's where we truly are. Yes, we're in distribution. Yes, we have, partners in different countries. We have all these amazing things that we can utilize. So let's utilize them from, this level and above, not trying to keep going to that same level, right?
Yep.
So at least that's how I see it, but my mind tends to work differently sometimes.
I'm I'm really excited because even if we only just reached the 40,000. It gets Metamorphosis out like before we get into too much of cold weather or anything. This next set's really exciting. You and I we've been really excited when we've been talking about Metamorphosis for the last few months. I think it's the set that's really gonna I think it's going to be another great step up. And Invasion was a great step up. Origins was a great step up. Like, I think this will be the third really well designed and very fun to play set in a row for the game. So even if we only got the 40,000 to get Metamorphosis out, that's great. But if we get a little bit of extra, and then all of a sudden we have brand new organized play promos, and we have our best coast pairings at the top tier where players are getting all sorts of cool statistics and rewards and all these cool things just for playing in local game stores. That's really exciting. And then if we have that, and then all of a sudden we're able to do tracking on how players are performing in stores, and we're getting the metadata for deck lists that are being submitted in stores for events. And that's a major thing because all the content we could create for our game.
Hmm.
Sorry, am I too quiet? Stephen Culp said he couldn't hear me. All the content that we can create for our game, if all of a sudden we had access to everybody's um, deck lists from stores all around North America, that would be amazing, right? Because we don't have that right now. There's very few stores that actually take the time to upload their local players' deck lists and share them around. If we had that, that would be amazing. And then on top of that, then God help us if we can actually get enough to cut the check with TCG Player to get our game listed on TCG Player. And all of a sudden, game stores all around North America are waking up one day and they're seeing the prices for Genesis singles showing up in their point of sale right beside the prices for Pokemon and Magic and Flesh and Blood and all those other top tier games.
Yeah.
Then that's the point where it's like the sky is the limit. So we, no matter what, even if we just get Metamorphosis out, that's a big success. But the potential here to do so much more and really I think, give everybody all the things they've been really wishing for this game is
Mm-hmm.
really
Hmm.
exciting for me. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see, and um, I'm definitely hopeful. Like, I'm definitely in the mindset of like this is going to be a forward. So, um, if you have that kind of data implemented loyalty program, is one of the things the TCGs are missing.
that's actually one of
Yeah.
the things that you can do through Best Coast pairings is there's behind the scenes there's ways to use that data specifically
Hmm.
for a loyalty program in their software. So that's something that we would be doing. So
Yeah.
specifically a loyalty program we've talked about a little bit, but I'd love to have a loyalty program involved so that when people are on a grassroots level hosting the first events in new stores that haven't really been carrying the game before, those players will get rewards for being our ambassadors and other things like
Yep.
that. So
Hmm. Yeah. It's one of those things where having people boots on the ground in stores supporting the game, it it naturally grows a good playing space, right? But it's not easy though. It's definitely not easy.
what to be the ambassador and go and get it started? It
Yeah,
helps. It
sometimes.
helps
Yeah.
if it's your local game, if it's your own local game store, because you
Yeah, for
can
sure.
kind of convince your friends into it. But you're
Hmm.
right. It does take a little bit of legwork to get people to try anything for the first time. Honestly, I feel like half the time that's the biggest struggle Genesis has is just convincing people to give it a shot. Because, in my experience, I mean, what 99 times out of 100, when I've sat down with somebody and taught them how to play, they've kept playing after. Like it's a
Oh, the game
really
plays amazing. The
yeah.
game, like that was one of the things that, you know, through all the iterations of all the people I've been with and worked with, is that, the game, you sit down, it plays well, it shows off well, people can visualize and see what's going on well, and um, these are all amazing things that not every game necessarily has. That that movement piece and the turning and the rotating is so, um, visually pleasing. You can see like, oh, if I turn this way, that means I'm attacking this way, or this spell affects these areas, right? And getting to the point where we can make all that really sing well, and having cards coming out and having new decks and new themes. I think, yeah, I think it's just so much. The word that keeps coming to the top of my head is just so much potential,
Mm.
and that potential has always been there and has been always been, very close to being there, and it's just like, just that one hurdle you gotta get over, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is I'm really excited about this. It's a little nerve wracking at first to share your idea with people because you don't know how they're going to react. But the bottom line is for me on a personal level, this I'm really excited because what this does is it gives all of us as a gaming community, all of the fans who love this game, including us, because like again, I'm only here because I was a major fan of the game to begin with, and didn't want to see it end. This gives all of us a chance to work together with clearly defined goals. And if we reach these goals, we know what the rewards are going to be. And by the end of this year, we can be as successful as we want to be as a community. And we can really have direct impact on how fast and how far the game grows. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Consider this a
It's
call to
gonna
action, you know?
call to action. It's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, and not just to actually back the Kickstarter as well, but this is definitely a great call to action for people such as Josh Slaughter in the live chat, who's did a little bit of content for us in the past, to share on his channels about the fact that this Kickstarter is coming and why he's excited about it. And there's so many other people in the chat who have done content for us in the past as well. Even Dex and Drafts, who I know is out of the game, but if he wanted to casually throw out there that he's rooting for us, I still think that counts for a lot. And I did see a comment from Stephen Collip about Smetrat Games. I just wanted to reassure you, Stephen, that as soon as we hear from them, I'm gonna send them a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna send them a bunch of promos and stuff like that to try and make sure that they get everything they need to have a good second start at it. So so yeah, I'm trying my best to keep up with the chat. There's a lot of comments. It's phenomenal. Is anybody else having trouble hearing me? Because I see that Stephen Collip saying he can't hear me. So and we miss you too, Dex and Drafts. You're always welcome in our community, my friend.
Where is the link? I don't know if can I link this? Let me do
Yeah, I'm
that.
glad to hear that. Some people say I'm a
Oh,
bit quiet. Other
top.
people say that I'm okay. Okay, so let me see. The trouble is I can't really turn myself up, but I can turn Will down a bit so that we're a little more balanced. I don't know why it is, but it's the limits of my mic channel here, and I don't know why that is.
Some people were saying, exert tokens. I'm sure there's lots of options. I'm not sure we mentioned any about exert tokens, right? But there's I think some behind the scenes there, right? There's always a certain amount that we have to order when you do things like that, right? And finding the right amount to order, or if it's like 10,000 exert tokens and we have 100 people wanting one exert token, what do what does EduXL do with the other 9,900, right? But
So I didn't have a graphic for it tonight, but if you let me
oh,
step away from the computer for a second, I can actually show you something regarding exert tokens. So we'll entertain
a
the people for about 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
entertain people again. Oh man, I I work in text. I don't entertain. Hello people. I'm motivated to play Genesis. I really like the cards, decks, and drafts taught me to play game. Yeah, I mean I think that's one of the things that definitely drew me in. Right, is sitting down and playing and pulling out the cards and watching as you and move around and as the game develops, right? Having all your resources up front is something that's really interesting in the game. Having no limits on the number of cards you can necessarily put in a deck, right? Outside of like the cheese system and building a deck with a certain amount of points per card has a lot of interesting deck styles. So I'm glad you're enjoying the game. It's my definitely my favorite game, and hopefully it's other people's favorite game as well. So
So
Joey
to
definitely taught a lot of people to play.
yeah,
Yes,
for sure he did.
huge boost to Genesis, and definitely appreciate all of his efforts. And
Yeah.
that goes for saying with a lot of people who have had their hand and put their their time and their effort in, right? Like there's a lot of people who have been play testers, who've been designers, who've been, storyboarders, who've been editors, and those people, um, some are still with us, some are, not, with the game as much, or watching from a distance, or keeping their ear to the ground, hearing about what's happening. But I think um, a lot of those people have helped us get us to this point, and we're here at this point now. So we're always building off of that. So
Yeah,
hoping more people get exposed to Genesis in my area so I can play in board person. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Who taught Joey? That's a great question. I didn't teach Joey.
I'm sure only Joey could answer that question. It's like, who taught the ancient one the ancient secrets? Nobody knows. All right, so I got to add Jalarian Tiger to our list of names, which is, by the way, huge. It's like 31 names now, which I think
Nice.
is definitely the biggest wheel of names for winning a prize that we've had here. Of course, it's also the biggest prize, so that makes sense. To get back on, people were talking about exert tokens a minute ago.
Mhm.
So I had a couple thoughts about that I wanted to share. One is a good friend of mine, Brian, who used to work with me at my game store, and he's a big Genesis fan as well. He makes very cool custom exert tokens. I'm going to try and show you one on the screen here. I'll see if my camera will focus for it or not. So he made a ton of exert tokens. These ones here in particular say I was there, and they were special commemorative release day tokens for the day Invasion released at my local game store. And we gave these out to everybody who came for the event that day on release. And I was thinking what we could definitely do is we can definitely do custom tokens like this for backers where you could do an add-on. They're basically like flat back metal on the back and then whatever image you want on the front. We could do like an add-on where you could get 10 custom exert tokens for a fee and get that added as an add-on. Last week we were talking about tokens, exert tokens specifically, and somebody had made a suggestion about how cool it would be to have dual-sided tokens where the top says exert, and if they're green, then the back might say like decay or something like that. And then
Yep.
different colors could have different like slowed on a blue one or whatnot. So we're looking into that to see what options are available to do dual-sided ones with different graphics on each side. But if anybody wants just normal single-sided, really nice metal custom tokens, there will definitely be an affordable option to get like packs of 10 with whatever image you want on them, custom done and included with your Kickstarter. So Alana there, who's I would imagine is actually Ryan in the chat. They do some metalworking and they did some really hardcore metal exert
Nice.
tokens, and like these are
Cool.
big, hefty, probably count as a weapon if you hit someone with them tokens, but they looked amazingly cool. And then other people have, at least at my old store, there were several people, including Aaron, the well-known judge, who had came in and made their own exert tokens as well. It's been something fun that creative people have gotten creative with. So
Hmm.
there will definitely be exert tokens available. I'm just trying to find out if there's going to be a second option with double-sided. I'm looking for something that we could source that would be affordable because I don't really want anything to be super pricey. I kind of like the reputation Genesis has for being a great value and affordable, and I want to keep that. So that's my thoughts on tokens.
Nice. I think that would be a cool idea. Poker chips was mentioned. I think that was more of a specific ACG thing, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
um,
I,
that will
I'm a little
continue.
hesitant to do poker chips, to be honest, just because it was done by the last company, and I like us trying to do things that stand us out a bit from the last company. We tried to get into Gen Con. We were too late, Scott, for that.
Next year.
I think for this year, the calendar year we're in right now, Janice and I have been looking on a smaller scale at some of the smaller gaming conventions in Ontario, in Toronto, and smaller towns in our area that we can drive to and just do 1 day displays and whatnot to kind of continue building things
Mm,
on a grassroots level in some of the smaller towns in our area. Um, Next year will definitely be the year that we get into some of those major ones because some of them you're already having to start pre-registering now to have a booth for next year.
yeah, you
So
have to
that's
pre-reg like a year ahead.
yeah. Yeah, and that's what we found out that's what we found out in like January, February when we looked into it for this year. All the most of the really big, exciting ones we weren't able to get into because they were already done registration last year. That's a learning experience, but it's also just as well because our whole small team has been just running ourselves ragged, just getting all this work done behind the scenes. So it was a good year to not be distracted with traveling because we had to keep laying the groundwork, which now we can carry on with next year. So
Right. Well, I think that's a lot of information. So I'm sure people have chance to like digest it all and have questions. So definitely Discord, fan Discord, or the actual Genesis official Discord. Those will be open up where you can reach out to Edge of Exile, like Jason, Janice, Jeff. You can reach out to me. I don't necessarily have all the details that you may want, um, but you can definitely reach out to JC and I, and we'll direct you to the person who probably knows best. But
for sure. Yeah. Any questions, comments, anything you want to know, you can reach out to us at the email on the screen now. hello@edgeofexile.com. Let me
if
see
it was a
here. Sorry, go
Malik
ahead.
deck, if it was a Malik deck, it would have been probably one of the old demo decks. I think that person's talking about.
Yep. For Josh Slaughter, I sent him some new product that we had did from Edge of Exile, and I sent him some of the old product from Haunted Castle, which I've done with a lot of content creators because I like them to be able to see what the old
Oh,
original
yeah,
product
the
was like and
difference
the new
where we,
stuff, and they can compare it
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah,
So,
where
because you
where
can't
things
really
have
just
grown.
send one or the other, because if you only send one or the other, and then all of a sudden they see an image from somebody else, they're going to have no idea what's going
Yeah,
on, right?
yeah,
I try and send a well-rounded package of stuff for any content creators so that they can get the whole scope of the history of
and it's good
Genesis.
too for the community as it grows to know that there was two versions, there was two templates. We have a modernized template that we're using now, and there was one that was used before. And those cards are all there's no legality issues there. So
Yep. JC's asking, is there going to be a live stream next week? Because of course Monday night next week will be Canada Day. And before I got to say anything, Janice has said it for me that no, it's Canada Day, so I'm not allowed to. But I do want to give an update as far as the Kickstarter goes. So it might not be a live stream, but as soon as we have hard information as to when the Kickstarter is going to go live, I'll just record a video and upload it. Like not as a live stream, but
right.
like I'll just upload something so that people can get that information as quick as they can. We actually have company coming over here next week on Canada Day because we live very close to a really big park in our town, and that park happens to do amazing fireworks on Canada Day. And we happen to live on the sixth floor of a really tall building, so we get this ridiculously amazing view of the fireworks where they're all at eye level while they're exploding.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal. So I'm gonna have
Cool.
friends over here for that next Monday night. So I won't be able to do anything live. But if we get information of a hard date for when people can start buying their day one stuff on Kickstarter, I will pass
Right.
that info along on Facebook and here on the YouTube and Twitch channels for Genesis as soon as I get that info to give people as much time as possible.
Mhm. Well, do you have all your names?
Let me read down the list. I'm going to read down the list, and if anybody has commented and you don't hear your name, I'm going to wait a minute or two after I've read this list to give you time to chat, to speak up in the chat. But what I've got for a list here is I've got Damien C, Tower, Alana, which is probably Ryan, Cardboard Cohorts, Ian, Rick Miles, The Card Golem, Marcus Pridham, Kyle D. Jones, Flooded Studios, Carl Lilly, creator of Rompo, one of my favorite creatures of all time in Genesis, Alex Miller, the old co-host with that guy beside me there. Then we've got Ishmael Mion and then Misha Ria. Oh wait, did I get the? Is that supposed to be the same names? Did I screw up one of their names? God, I probably did. I suck.
There was yeah, there was two.
But were they the same last name or different last names? Because on my thing, I got a Mion and a
Just
Rion.
scrolling up.
God, I gotta go way up to find them in the chat. There's been so much. So Ishmael is Mion with an M, Miat, and then Misha. Where is Misha gonna be? Dun, 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 dun. All right. Well, if I spelled Misha's last name wrong, it won't matter because we know that it'll be Misha if the name comes up. Then Yoda's Data over in Germany. Thank you for joining us tonight. Again, if you're in the European Union and you want to order any Genesis products, Yoda's Data in Germany is not only a local game store, they're also the distributor for Genesis for any brick and mortar game stores. So whether wholesale or retail, reach out to Yoda's Data. Then we've got Cardboard Flesh and Blood, Stephen Penn, Shockwave, Decks and Drafts, Muskoka Cards and Collectibles, Timmy T. Did I already say Timmy T? No, I didn't. All right, so Timmy T. Then I've accidentally put Alex and Carl in the second time. Take them back out, so they're only in once. Ed Tuck, Mr. Alex 21 Alex, Duelist Sync JD, Locked and Loaded Gaming 2021, Josh Slaughter, Flooded Studios, Stephen Cullup, and Jalarian Tiger. I hope I got everybody.
Did you get a Rick
Hey, Brian
Miles?
Pitts! Brian Pitts made it. He just made it now. Look at that. Brian made it just in time. All right.
Did you get
Did I
Rick?
get? Let me check if I got Rick Miles. You'd think I would remember saying that name because I've known him for so. Yeah, I did. I got Rick. He's on the list
And
of
Kyle
Brian
D.
Pitts.
Jones?
Oh, and I've missed Jeremy Herron. Thank you, Jeremy. You are great for helping me out here. And I'll check on my list to see if I got Kyle D. Jones. Yes, I do. I've got Kyle D. Jones on the list. Eric L. is here. We should include Eric L. Let's give Eric L. a chance to win an entire sealed booster box as well while we're at it. Eric L. All right.
Shockwave.
Yep. Ruben Baker, I did not see your name before, but I will happily add you right now for a chance for you to win a whole booster box of Invasions. Let me see. Ruben Baker is getting added to the list.
Mr. Alex 21.
Mr. Alex 21 Alex. Yeah, I got Alex in there. So I'll read it a second time, just so that we can make sure we got everyone. Damien C, Tower, Alana, which is probably Ryan. Then we got Cardboard Cohorts, Ian, Rick Miles, The Card Golem, Marcus Pridham, Kyle D. Jones, Flooded Studios, Carl Lilly, Alex Miller, Ishmael Mian, Misha Rion, Yoda's Data, Cardboard Flesh and Blood, Stephen Penn, Shockwave, Decks and Drafts, Muskoka Cards, Timmy T, Ed Tuck, Mr. Alex, 21 Alex, Duelist Sync JD, Locked and Loaded Gaming 2021, Josh Slaughter, Flooded Studios, Stephen Cullup, Jalarian Tigers, Brian Pitts, Jeremy Herron, Eric L., and Ruben Baker. And wait, I did miss somebody too, because I'm going to say Tenki is my guess for how to say that name. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize.
Thank you.
But I do know that I have to add you to the list. So thank you for letting me know. All right. Now I'm just double checking my phone one last time. Oh, did I say Scott Simonow? I don't think I did I? Yeah, I missed Scott Simonow. So I got to add him to the list too. Oh my goodness. So many names. Scott, Simon.
Mayor Brown just showed up.
What was that? Sorry?
Mayor. Meyer.
I'm not seeing that. Oh, you know what I got to check too? Is I got to check on the other. I got to check
just after Brian Pitts.
Just after Brian Pitts. Yeah,
Oh,
Mayor
and
Brown.
look at
Here
that.
we go. Okay, yep.
Because it took so long to read the names, a rules guy showed up.
Okay, sorry. I gotta add Mayor Brown here. Mayor Brown. And then I gotta add the rules guy, Shahan. I guess he can win a booster box if he wants. But God, if I add a booster box, if I add him, then I gotta add JC to the list. So
For a second booster box?
well, no, not for a second booster box, but I'm just gonna like give JC a chance to win one tonight. Yeah. So I've got John in there now. I've got Shahan in there now. That says we've got 38 entries tonight. Wow. 33 people still watching. 38 names on the list. That's crazy. I do have to take 1 second because I just realized I haven't checked. I got to check the Twitch chat for a second because we are live streaming on Twitch as well. So let me just check to see if anybody commented over there. Twitch TV, Genesis, BoC. BoC. I don't. I see somebody watching, but I don't see any comments. So don't. I see somebody watching, but I don't see any comments. So yeah, so we're okay there. All right. My
Nice.
goodness, this is going to be a massive wheel of names here. So let me get ready to switch us over to the wheel of names, and we're going to give away a booster box of Invasion tonight. How cool is that? All right, wheel of names. Where are you? It's gonna take me a second here. Sorry, I gotta set it up before the camera's off in the wrong spot. So sorry. Give me 1 second here, everybody. In the meantime, Will, please entertain all the viewers at home.
Oh man, I'm out of material.
What? Nah.
Um, I mean, I can start listing off spoilers. We can just start listing off cards
You
for 3
monster.
sets of future new
You
champions.
monster.
Everyone wants a new champion from a couple sets down the road. Those cards.
You're a monster. Why would you say that?
I just give them to the people what they want.
Giving the people what they want. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. I'm almost done. The wheel has so many names in it. I actually have to change the size of the wheel to fit it on the screen now because it's got like 30 some odd names in it. And if we want it to be legible, I got to make some adjustments for a second here.
Well, I can say it's been a lot of fun to have some um, old fans back in, chatting, dropping in, seeing what's going on.
Yeah,
Always good to see
absolutely.
familiar names pop up, people who I've met, people who have, um, you know,
People
been
you've
around,
co-hosted
played
streams
against.
with. All right, wait, did anybody new just comment? No, right? No,
Any
okay.
chance old frames making a comeback outside of promo champions? Sure, always. I think one of
There's
the cool things we have is that since we have different frames, is being able to use it at certain times, right?
mhm,
Having a card with an old frame is always a throwback, right? Like the alpha frame is very cool. It would look really
yeah.
cool as a foil or something like that, right? But I mean, those things are always on our minds. We're always trying to come up with ways to, you know, bring out chase that isn't functionally based, right? We don't want to have functional chase that is like you can only get this card if you were in this one situation and there's only 5 copies of it and only 5 people have that card, right?
Yeah.
That is what we're trying to stay away from, but we do want to have you know different ways of different varieties of different ways to express or show off champions, right? So that's something that I know I like in this game.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, we're checking out the wheel. That's a lot of names on this wheel tonight, my friends. This
Here
is
we
pretty
go.
exciting. All right, so I've just, while Will was talking, I was clicking the shuffle button. You'll notice again now the names are changing randomly. And when I stop, I'm going to click the middle of the wheel and we're going to see who's going to win a sealed booster box of Invasion. And a reminder for all of you watching at home, this does include free shipping. It's not going to cost you a cent to get it. But if we don't already have your address, you will have to provide us your mailing address so we can ship it to you. With that being said, let's spin to win.
Good luck,
Who's it
everyone.
going to be? Good luck, everybody. Let's see who's going to win a booster box of Invasion. Brian Pitts? No, Duelist Sync JD. Yeah, congratulations, Duelist Sync JD. I honestly don't know if we have your address on file or not because I can't remember. I think you might have won prizes before, but if not, please let us know. And that,
If
my
you
friends, was exciting.
Yeah, if you did miss a box, I do know, and you're in the States, I do know that there was a really sweet deal going on in the fan Discord through I forget the name of the store,
Madtown
but
Hobby or someone else?
Madtown Hobby, thank you,
Yeah,
just dropped off. Madtown Hobby was doing a big push. He got some product in, excited to
yeah.
sell it. I'm not sure there's much left, but hey, that's a good thing.
I'm just really excited that finally the product is in stock and available at both of our distributors in the United States. So everybody can get anything they want in the United States between those two separate distributors. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So if you
it's
want some product or you want some invasions, get out to the local game store, ask your store to bring it in for you, and then that would
yeah, because every
definitely
local
go a
game
long way.
store in the US now has access to wholesale pricing. If you're not already a client with Southern Hobby, you can go through Indie Pro Games. Either way, both of them are offering the same wholesale pricing. So any local game store in the States can easily get our product now. And I'm very, very happy to say that. So, well, that's it, my friends. That was a lot of info to digest. One of our longest episodes, about an hour and a half. But the time flew by. We had a great chat tonight with so many people tuning out. And I just want to remind everybody tonight that your call to action, my friends, is just to help spread the word about this Kickstarter. Let people know that you enjoy the game, why you like it, and let them know how they can get some really cool exclusive stuff and help bring the next set to
Mhm.
stores quicker, help us get our organized play up and running at full speed, help us get a world championship happening this year, help us get listed on TCG Player, all sorts of amazing things that we can get done if this goes well. And now then, with all the people spoiling the hockey score in the chat, you monsters, I said I was recording the game. I think it's about time for us to call it a night, Will. Anything you'd like to, anything on your mind you want to cover before we say goodnight to all these wonderful people?
I think I just appreciate everyone coming out and being here, having a big stream. A lot of great comments, a lot of great um, people sort of showing their, at least their enthusiasm. And I really hope that, yeah, once the Kickstarter goes, we'll have, will be a fun month of waiting and seeing what happens. But
Yeah.
um,
I'd
yeah,
be
I'm
totally
excited to see where
fine
things go.
if we got fully back day one, if it was one of those crazy stories. Let's not
Hmm.
forget, and it's not apples to oranges because I know the last Kickstarter the old company did included booster boxes, but they did smash their goal really fast, and they wound up raising a total of like 350,000. We don't need anywhere near that much to hit all of our goals, but it would be really cool if like day one, a lot of people backed and got the discounts and we got off to a great start. I'm excited. I'm going to really enjoy the month of watching the Kickstarter. It's going to be a fun time. So,
Yeah. All right. Go
all right.
Oilers.
Yeah. I'm Canadian. I got to say the same thing. On my end, I got to say go Oilers. But for all you American fans out there, I'm sure you're cheering for the Panthers, and that's fine too. No shame. Uh, Everybody have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. There will not be a live stream next Monday, but there may be a pre-recorded video going up if we have any updates on the Kickstarter. There's going to be lots of news coming out, so please keep up to date by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter. We're going to be sharing a lot of updates as things go, and it's going to be a really exciting time over the next 6 to 8 weeks. So you picked a great time to tune in, everybody. Take care. Stay safe out there. Will, anything
All
you want
right.
to say before I say goodbye?
I'll just say goodbye.
Awesome. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just trying to find the credits. There they are. Bye, everyone.